Mesdames et messieurs, ravi de vous retrouver ici en direct de Marrakech sur notre plateau APIDE TV où les débats se poursuivent, les échanges autour du paiement notamment. Et nous allons revenir à présent sur le futur du paiement en Afrique et dans le monde. Alors l'univers, on l'a vu depuis ce matin ici du paiement, donc connaît une dynamique particulièrement forte. Vers quelles évolutions allons-nous? Quels sont les usages qui pourraient émerger? Quel rôle également pour les technologies, les monnaies électroniques de banque centrale, mais aussi l'open banking? Comment renforcer l'interopérabilité, mais aussi l'interconnexion régionale? Beaucoup de questions que nous nous posons et auxquelles nous allons tenter de répondre parce qu'il s'agit effectivement plus globalement de l'essor économique renforcé du continent africain. Deux invités avec moi pour cette séquence pour répondre à ces questions, essayer d'imaginer un petit peu le futur du paiement. Et j'ai le plaisir d'accueillir Monsieur Abdeslam Alaoui Ismaili, CEO de HPS. Merci d'être avec nous en direct sur l'APIDE TV. Et puis nous avons également le plaisir d'accueillir Monsieur Fintan Byrne, CEO de CR2. Thank you very much, Fintan, d'être avec nous. Vous l'avez compris, cette session, une introduction en français. On va switcher maintenant en anglais. Une session qui va donc se dérouler en direct. We're going to talk in English together. Thank you. Merci beaucoup. Les joies du direct et la technique. On ne vous a pas menti, on est en direct depuis Marrakech. Fintan, we can start with you with the first question, if you agree with that, and to discuss about, so I was telling that digital payment is increasing a lot throughout the world, of course in Africa too. What kind of evolution are we talking about, and especially about mobile payment and mobile banking?
Thank you, Melanie. Yeah, my first point, really, we've already seen in the last number of years a very fast adoption. You know.
You have to bring it up, upper, your hand, put it upper like this.
Yeah, so sorry, we've already seen in the last number of years definitely an increase in adoption across mobile banking and mobile payments. Much of that driven by increased penetration, some lower costs, some very interesting use cases across banking and payments. But certainly we've seen a significant jumpstart as a result of the COVID pandemic, where we saw a lot of adoption being taken up across mobile banking and mobile payments. But of course it continues to evolve. You know, when I think about mobile banking examples across use cases, users' experience, where we see a lot of segmentation and personalization starting to start in different segments of the market. Things like seamless customer acquisition, like driven by, for example, eKYC. And I'm always interested in not just the consumer side, but also the business side. And we are seeing increased adoption in the SME business community as well, with not just on mobile, but across internet agency as well. When I think about mobile payments, again, you know, things like going beyond the card rails into ACH rails, telcos, and how they're starting to evolve in terms of driving mobile payments. Of course, acceptance has to evolve at the same time. We're seeing things like QR code acceptance at merchants is also becoming a bit more prevalent. But of course, things like security and trust are always foremost. So they need to go hand in hand as they're developing. But sometimes it's a little bit of an unnecessary split between mobile banking and mobile payments. When we see CR2 and HPS together, we are really talking about mobile banking and mobile payments as one. And we see that more and more, that you know, how I bank and how I pay are going to be seamless. And that for me is probably going to be the biggest evolution we're going to see.
And we were talking, of course, about worldwide, especially in Africa, Abdeslam. Are you seeing the same evolution? Because we're seeing that everything is going so quick here in the continent.
It's definitely the case on both sides, on the mobile banking and the mobile money. We have, as in a morning presentation, we have seen that we have different markets in Africa, some that are bank-led, and where mobile banking would be most probably more advanced than the mobile money, and on the other markets it will be the other way. But what is the future is that there will be a convergence between the mobile money and the mobile banking, because at the end of the day the mobile banking will lead to a financial inclusion where we will also have, in addition to the payment, all the financial services, and where this mobile banking is coming from. So my guess is that there will be a convergence in the African market between the mobile money and the mobile banking because of this financial inclusion that we are all looking for.
One word, Abdeslam, about cryptocurrency. Of course, we are talking about the future. In 2022, 55 million of African people were already using the cryptocurrency for 1.4 billion people. So how you see how cryptocurrency can be one part of the answer of African needs today?
So the cryptocurrency in most of the African countries is really a solution to cross-border money transfer. So this is something that we have seen that is beyond the investment on crypto that we may not be able to see in most of the African countries, where the crypto is a tool for money transfer, and money transfer coming from Europe, from North America. So my vision, or my reading of the situation is that cryptos are really a solution for the cost of that money transfer that we have. Within the African continent, we do not see a pure African crypto yet. Maybe it will be coming. What we are seeing is South for South in Africa could be, the crypto could be an answer to that. But up to now, I'm not sure we have any project coming in.
One word again about central bank digital currency. Of course, we are obliged to discuss about. We see that already some are available in the world. How many are in Africa? Do you know about that? And what can be the role and the impact of this CBDC?
So my understanding is that we have about 11 projects in Africa that have started. Some have moved to production. It's still in the pilot or in the startup phase. It's really at the beginning. As a matter of fact, in Nigeria, the INAIRA, we have since 2021 not more than $45 million volume. I guess it's about 250, 270,000 users for 200,000 transactions. So it's really at the beginning. Is it promising? Definitely yes. Is it a need? I think yes, for various reasons. The first one is we need to see, or at least the way those projects are designed, they are designed to fight cash. It's really to be able to provide a low value transaction process. It is also beyond the CBDC and the currency itself. It's all the smart contracts that will be behind it, is all the automation. It's this modernization of the economy, the modernization of the payment processes that we need to see in these regions. So 11 projects. Some have started with a slow beginning, but I'm sure that this is something that should be really a game changer in our continent.
And something more developed in next coming years, of course. Also this work close to the bank is central bank is crucial because of the stability, the financial stability. This is a key point that we have to keep in mind in this kind of projects, of course. Fintan, let's talk about technological challenges, if you agree with that. Of course, we are thinking especially about blockchain, artificial intelligence, but also quantum. We were talking about it just before in this APIDE TV. This is something challenging for the payment.
Sure, I think we think it for both a challenge, but also an opportunity. So I was thinking, as you were asking the question, when I meet with CEOs of banks, not just in Africa, but also in Europe and Middle East, worldwide, indeed, they always remind me that any payment system has some minimum entry requirements, high availability, high reliability, a lot of trust and security. So I think as these technologies help those, they can be adopted into the payment system. So they must have these entry-level requirements to be adopted into the payment systems. I think the second thing is, yes, these technologies will be useful, particularly where they support kind of what we call, let's say, compelling use cases, where there's something really that they help build out particularly quickly, like, as Abdeslam mentioned, blockchain with cross-border payments. We have to make sure that the required skill set are available in the technologies. I think is one of the areas that would have to be looked at, and also with each of them, what Abdeslam was talking about, the ENIRA, reaching critical mass. Each of these technologies can support, different payment systems, different payment methods, different evolutions, particularly when they reach a critical mass of them. But there are, useful use cases starting to emerge. We talked about blockchain and cross-border payments. We know AI is particularly helpful, or maybe around fraud, credit scoring, behavior scoring, data analytics. Similarly with, machine learning, maybe helping in terms of evolving some of work that's done in kind of the more manual side of banking in particularly. And big data analytics is always going to be required, maybe next evolution of developing patterns, understanding different concepts that can be brought into the different payment systems. But, these things, kind of our experience of them, where they have something compelling, they'll be brought in. And then they can reach an adoption or a mass adoption, and then they become, normalized within the payment system. But generally, they are slow. That would be my take on it.
All these technologies can help also about cyber security, and Abdeslam, I know that it's a key point for you that you are talking a lot, and is of course one of the major subjects we have to discuss about the future. Blockchain, also artificial intelligence can help to be more cyber resilient, let's say, in the payment and financial world. This is also a key point because it's one of the pillar of the customer trust, and you were talking about this. This is really something you have to focus on.
Definitely, yes. The artificial intelligence in particular is a tool that we cannot avoid now to fight fraud and to fight cyber crime. On the positive side, the cyber security, or the intelligence, the artificial intelligence is helping the banks to have hyper-personalized offers. But on the dark side, the artificial intelligence is able to detect really the trends and the low signals where we start having somebody that is trying to get in. So it is a tool that is much more efficient than humans. It's much more efficient than rule-based, and it's able to detect and to learn by itself. So do we need this type of technology to be able to be resilient globally? Definitely yes, and I think going forward, this is something that cannot be avoided, and it has to be part of any project we are doing.
And yes, if I could just add, I don't know if it translates to French, but things what we call table stakes, a minimum requirement. Certainly, end-to-end cybersecurity is that. It's right from protecting the mobile app that's being used, right through the value chain and back again, is the minimum requirement. Because we mentioned trust is the critical thing, not just for the bank, but for the users as well. So cybersecurity is something that's foremost in our thinking of, all of the, even at this conference, we have our own section on cybersecurity. So it's always going to be, it's here, and it will stay.
Maybe, Abdeslam, one word about open banking, of course. And Matthew Griffin was here just before and was already speaking about open data. So how are you seeing this feature coming?
It's very much linked to the artificial intelligence on the positive side. And today, going forward, not having necessary data coming from different sources, regulated, making sure that the ecosystem is ready to play the game, if I may say. Nothing could happen at the pace that we need to catch up what happens in other places of the world. So for me, the open finance or the open data is really an important factor that enables open banking, and not playing this game, the institutions that will not play this game will be out of the game, definitely. So yes, the open data and the sharing data, making sure that this can be consumed by the different systems, making sure that this is consumed by artificial intelligence is a must for any future banking. And I'm sure that when we talk about open data and what Matthew was mentioning, it's not only in payments, it's in any industry. This is something that is important, and we have seen that in the UN, or one of the development KPI is today the level of data that is shared in each country. And you know better than me that data is the oil of yesterday or the oil of today. Any value creation has to go through data.
Fintan, one word about integrated payment and what can be created in the next years.
Okay, how long do we have? It's a very big topic.
We are here today.
And I'm sure Abdeslam will want to have his say as well. Maybe when we think about, defining what do we mean by integrated payment systems, it probably means something different to everybody. So for me, it means things like, enabling e-commerce, how we're managing different verticals. For example, the support of subscription-type payments in different parts of different businesses, facilitating payments in marketplaces, I think is a really good example as well. And of course, just making seamless commerce a reality by having payments integrated into the journeys of transactions as they happen. So if we take that as the definition, in terms of the question about where do we think it's going to go, I think the new use cases for integrated payments that will evolve are the ones that will get adopted quickest are the ones that have the biggest business benefit. So if we think about from any business like increasing revenue, is it reducing abandonment rates for e-commerce? Is it about increasing basket size? Or benefits around reducing costs. So whether it's faster settlement and reconciliation by having a payment system integrated within the business that I have, or faster B2B payments being settled and reconciled. So I think these use cases where we integrate payments are the ones that have already started for sure, but in terms of mass adoption, where it's a really strong business benefit, I think these are the ones that will get adopted more quickly. And of course, the consumer experience is really important as well. So where we see the consumer experience being supported with integrated payments, whether it's faster checkout, for example, then these are the things that get adopted. New use cases get adopted pretty quickly. So, we're seeing verticals in insurance, for example, where, either it's, recurring type payments or payouts, insurance payouts, we're seeing payments being integrated more quickly in those sort of verticals. And I'm always interested in, the B2B2C, business to business to consumer, where we see, whether it's payroll or welfare distribution to support financial inclusion, these sort of integrated, let's call them integrated payments, are also starting to get adoption. But they always have a strong business benefit behind them.
Fintan, I think you described it very, very well. And this embedded payment or integrated payment are bringing something new in the market. The payment is so integrated in the customer journey that the businesses, the verticals, are very, very demanding on the payment experience itself. So when you are going through a journey and to buy a product or to consume a service, and the payment doesn't happen, the customer feels that it is the product that is wrong and not the payment. And this is something that is extremely different from what we used to have before, because the customer would have had the chance to pay in the different payment modes, while here the payment is totally integrated to the product, and the link between the product and the payment experience is totally invisible to the customer. So it brings another challenge to the payment suppliers like us, where we need to be at the level of expectation of any product. And this is a new paradigm in the payment space.
Yes, and just a real good example of that is buy now, pay later, where you're actually buying the product integrated as it's being sold, but you haven't fully paid for it. So you are very tied to the product in a much more emotional way. I think confirms what Abdeslam was saying.
To increase economic development of Africa, we know that regional interconnection is absolutely essential. How to increase it, and what can be the future development to encourage this initiative?
So it's a must to have this interoperability between the different countries or the different regions. We have the chance in Africa to have at least 2 integrated regions in terms of currency, in terms of payment systems. That is the UMA region and the BEAC region. So these are at least 2 regions that have a minimum mass to be able to invest. But it has to go further. We have some big markets, Egypt, Nigeria, South Africa, but it is not enough. And we need to have a much bigger market to be able to replicate what has happened in India or in China or in Brazil. How this is happening, I think the open banking is one of the options. I think we need to have the application of the regulators, and maybe a bit higher than the local regulators, to be able to push and to impose some of the changes. We have seen some experiences, and I hope this will go further. We have seen interconnections between the switch in West Africa and Nigeria. We are talking about some links between the switch in West Africa and Central Africa and Morocco. So these are initiatives that we should really push to be able to see a larger integration.
Thank you very much, both of you, to be here with us. It was a pleasure to welcome you on our APIDE TV show. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Merci à vous de nous avoir suivis. C'est la fin de notre APIDE TV aujourd'hui, mais bien sûr, les débats reprendront dès demain matin à 10 h. Je vous donne donc rendez-vous pour continuer à parler de paiement, d'identification, de programme EID, e-Gov et bien sûr de cybersécurité. Passez une très belle fin de journée. Je vous donne rendez-vous à demain.